What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Ask Dan Anything, and we've got a curler for you today from my man Brett. And this question is very simple. How do you tell a friend that he has BO, body odor? How do you tell a friend that they smell bad? This is a great one for honesty, this question, because it represents any questions where you feel that being truthful is going to hurt someone's feelings, and you like that person, and you don't want to hurt them, but there's no other way to be truthful. So this, it's so funny that this question comes up for me now, because I've just finished writing the last chapter of my next book, which is going to be called The Naked Truth. It's all about honesty. And I was writing a chapter on ruthlessness. And that chapter is all about what to do in those times where there just is no nice way to be truthful. That the truth is definitely going to hurt, it's going to sting, it's going to cause problems, people are going to get upset, relationships are going to get damaged, so on and so forth. All of that stuff that you got predicted in your mind. And yet, the only way to avoid those consequences would be to be somewhat untruthful, to sugarcoat it, to dance around the subject, to be indirect. And I want to talk about being ruthless. When somebody smells bad, or you catch their partner cheating on them, or someone in their family dies, or you want to go for the promotion that they're also going for, or whatever, understand there is no way that you can truthfully deliver this information to them in a way that won't hurt. Okay? If you know them really well, and you probably do, and you know how they're likely to react, and you probably do, then you have to reasonably assume that there is no way this information can make it to them without it being painful. Going back to the example of like telling someone that someone they loved has died, think about it, there is no way you can word that will reduce the impact of it. The only thing you can hope to do is make it less understandable. And this is what most people do. They sugarcoat it and they stutter and they stumble. They build up a big story of suspense to try and justify and minimize the impact of it, and so on and so on. And all this does is make it less comprehensible. By the time you actually deliver the truth, the person's like, what are you talking about? There is only one way to tell your friend that he stinks, and that's to tell him that he stinks. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a guideline as to how to do this. How to be ruthlessly honest with compassion. To understand, first part is you need to prepare them for the news. This is that, if you're delivering condolences for somebody dying, this is the, you need to sit down part, right? So just give them a very brief preparation that they're about to hear some potentially bad news. They're about to hear some truth that may hurt their feelings. And it can be as simple as telling them exactly that. Look, dude, I've got something I need to tell you. I've got some feedback for you, and it might hurt your feelings. Are you prepared for that? That's it. Just getting them ready for it. It shouldn't ever be more than a single sentence, really. And then the truth you deliver shouldn't be more than a single sentence either. Well, what I like to use sometimes is a bead model. But I'll go into that in a minute. In fact, I won't even go into that. I'll just put a link in the comments below. But what I say is give them the climax of the story first and then let them ask questions. So what somebody might do if somebody smells bad is they'll build up to it. They'll say, look man, we've been friends for a long time, and I really care about you. I do. I care about you a lot. You remember that time we went camping? Oh God, it was so good. And there's something I want to talk to you about, but I've just been dwelling on it for weeks. And they just, this big build up, this big suspense, keeping the person in the dark and just muddying the content of the truth. Whereas it's far better to start with, look mate, I've got to tell you something. Your body odor is horrendous. I can smell you from a mile away. And the key here is, after you've delivered this news, is to stop speaking. To give them respect, not to try and then sugarcoat it and, do the shit sandwich like, but you're good at this. That kind of bullshit where you're trying to just protect yourself from their uncomfortable emotions. And that's the key to it, isn't it? All of this concern you have about how do I tell them what's the right way, all you're really asking is how do I do this in a way where I don't have to deal with uncomfortable emotion, right? you get okay with dealing with uncomfortable emotion, you'll find delivering the truth a lot easier. And how do you get comfortable with dealing with uncomfortable emotion? By delivering truths like this regularly till you get used to it. Yeah. So ruthlessness is about giving it to them straight and as concisely as possible, and then following that with a nice big silence to give respect to the reaction that they need to have. Be there with them through that reaction. You don't need to know how to handle it. You don't need to fix it for them. If they hate you after that, let that happen. If they're mad at themselves or embarrassed, let that happen. I'll finish this with a story where this exactly happened to me. There was somebody working for me, and colleagues came to me and said, you've got to talk to this person, X, about their body odor. And I really liked this person, they were one of the favorite people on my team, and I really wanted to have a great relationship with them, and I felt like this was going to damage that. But I'd been working on this sort of stuff, so I called them into my office, I sat them down, and I delivered it in this way. I said, look, I've got to talk about something that's going to be uncomfortable for both of us to talk about, and there's just no easy way to do it. And you could already see the anxiety rising. I knew I just had to get to this quickly. There's no point in building this up. It's only going to make it worse. And I just told them, someone's come to me and mentioned that they've noticed your body odor. And I'm concerned that if this continues, there's going to be some gossip about you or something like that. And then I just let that person have a big embarrassed reaction, which is what happened. They got really embarrassed and flustered and just mortified that people were talking about them behind their back, about their smell. And then I went on to share stories of, when I was landscaping, my feet reeked so bad that my family would kick me out of the house and wouldn't let me in until I washed my feet. And just kind of shared, look, this happens to all of us. It's embarrassing. We'll get through it. It's just human. And made sure that, and this is one of the key elements to delivering non-judgmental feedback, I made sure to find a time that shows that I'm the same as them. Yeah. So Brett, I hope that helps. It's probably not the answer you want to hear to some extent. I know it'd be nice to hear an answer where you can deliver the news without there being any uncomfortable emotions, but there isn't. You can either deliver the news directly or in a confused way. Those are your only two options. Or of course you can avoid doing it altogether and have no integrity. That's always an option as well. So for those of you who enjoyed that, keep an eye out for my next book, The Naked Truth. It's going to go into the how-to of being honest all the time, or attempting to. And of course, send through your questions on honesty and anything else to dan@brojo.co.nz. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Catch you next time.